Hey, everybody. I wanted to talk about carrying all your branding through to every aspect of your website, including your buttons. And there's three main themes that you can do. Of course, there's a lot others that you can make up, but you might have a techie website with a lot of how-tos on it. You might have a friendly website, like maybe you sell digital products or recipes or whatever. And then something more formal, maybe it's a bank. So a techie site would have, squared off buttons. I would go to border radius, and there is actually a slight radius that's default on buttons. So if we link those all together and we make that border radius 0, it squares it off. It's a totally square. And then for the color, you might want to have the words on the button be like a kind of a bright, um, like a computer circuit board green. And the background color, I would say, would be dark. Okay. And, that has that techie look, that squared off techie look. I would even play with the font on there and make it like a real techie looking font. Okay, so I chose a monospace font, which is very computery looking, and you can see how computery that looks. For a friendly button, you definitely want a border radius on it. So I like to just click the little link and add the same radius to every corner. I mean, you could do them different. That would make it even kind of kookier, but I don't know, I like to be a little more precise with it. So, you can round the edges and you could make a friendly background color like, maybe an orangey color. I wouldn't do red because I think red kind of symbolizes an error. So I don't know that red is always a good choice, depending on where you're going to use it. But you have that bright yellowy color, and you probably want to do the uh, text in a darker color so that it will really show up. But you can see how friendly that is. And I would also probably change the font on this as well. Okay, so I chose this font just kind of out of the blue, and you can see how it's rounded and it looks a little bit hand drawn. So it really does give you a different feel. It's a more friendly, fun kind of a feel to it. Now, formal, like say you have a bank or something like that. I think the text on here is probably good. I'm guessing it's a default font. So you might want something with a serif to it, like not Times New Roman. That's a little, well, that's pretty formal, I guess. So we'll leave it at that. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Yeah, 30, 40. That's too big. Okay, I'll keep that at a 30. And then the color probably would remain a blue, because blue is it's a very trustworthy color. You could also do a green if you're dealing with money. Maybe it's a deep green or even a purple. Purple is a very formal color. And of course, leave the text a color that's going to stand out against that background. Would you do a little bit of a border radius? Possibly. We could try just a very slight border radius. Um, that's a little too slight, but just bring that up a little bit. Oops, I wasn't on the button. Mm, It's a little too much. I'm gonna do like 100, like 20. Yeah. Okay, and you can see how that's very different feeling from the other two. And on the formal button, you could even add an icon on it. Um, let's see, do something, with an arrow like that. So it's a little more formal. It's telling you, what you should do on it. A friendly button could have that too, if you can find a fun kind of an icon to put on it. Don't use a font that's hard to read. Make sure it's a good, easy to read font. That's one thing. Don't get all crazy with cursive fonts and everything. But I think this is kind of a cool way to carry your branding through your whole site, including the buttons.